earlier, the Sheriff's Department asked the California Highway Patrol to take over because the pursuit had gotten on the freeways, but they never really backed off. They were basically just trailing, and the California Highway Patrol asked for the Sheriff's Department to back off completely, and they didn't do that. They still continue to trail and run traffic breaks, and as a result, it seems like, from what I'm hearing on the scanner, that the California Highway Patrol is actually going to let the Sheriff's Department take over this yet again. So again, this is a stolen vehicle that came out of their area, and they want to follow it. Even though this has already made its way all the way into Pasadena from San Bernardino, it sounds like the Sheriff's Department, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, that is going to be taking over yet again with the LA County Sheriff's Department helicopter overhead. Okay, this is where the 134 and the 210 meet. It looks like he's going to go westbound 134. So westbound 134 coming away from the 210 freeway. This will put him into the Glendale area. He's first going to have to pass through Eagle Rock, but eventually he's going to end up in Glendale. And then that 134, there's a lot of other freeways that connect with that. He'll have the chance to get on the 2 if he continues. He could possibly get on the 5, or if he keeps going past that, he could merge with the 170 or the 101. So he's got some options here by taking the 134. 134 westbound, west of the 210. I'm hearing that the California Highway Patrol is backing off. They're going to let the Sheriff's Department take over, and there you see them. You can see the difference in the vehicles. The California Highway Patrol vehicles are, of course, black and white, but now you see we've had them replaced by these SUVs. They're from the San Bernardino Department. These are just white SUVs, so you can just visually see the difference between the agencies, and now we know who's taking over as we continue here. Going to be entering the Eagle Rock area here in just a moment. So we continue here on the westbound 134. Approaching Eagle Rock, you can see very light traffic. We see those two San Bernardino units directly behind the vehicle. The vehicle is traveling in the number 2 lane. Ten-4. Just in communication with my assignment desk there as we continue to follow this pursuit, now entering the Eagle Rock area on the westbound 134. The driver rolled his window back up for a time there. He did have it down. That's when we were zoomed in and taking a good look at him. But at that point, it appeared as if he was maybe starting to undress. And because of that, we did pull the shot back out. At this point, I can't confirm whether he has taken off all his clothes, but just from what we were able to witness, it did appear that he was at least taking off his hoodie, perhaps also taking off his pants as he continues here. Westbound 134 going to be coming up to the 2, so we'll see what he does. But let me just backtrack just a moment. Before we join the pursuit in the San Dimas Duarte area, we understand that the California Highway Patrol attempted to do a pit maneuver, but from the looks of it, it was not a successful pit maneuver, and then the pursuit ensued, now all the way into Eagle Rock, and the California Highway Patrol has actually backed off completely. If the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department decides that they'd like the California Highway Patrol to take over once again, they can contact them yet again and ask them to do so. But for now, it is the Sheriff's Department in pursuit. They were the ones originally pursuing this stolen vehicle to begin with out of their area, and they asked the California Highway Patrol if they could take over because the pursuit was getting on freeways and it was entering LA County. Since then, though, the Sheriff's Department has taken over of the pursuit yet again, and we've also got the LA County Sheriff's helicopter overhead. Continuing here, westbound 134, he may have missed his opportunity to get on the 2. I might have wanted out here to figure that out. There's the 2 freeway coming under the 134, and it looks like he's going to continue westbound 134, going to be coming up to some of the majors coming up are going to be Verdugo, going to be Glendale, Brand. So this is the heart of Glendale, downtown Glendale, with all of those big buildings that line the 134. You'll see those come up here in just a moment. I'll make sure to pull out just in time so that you can see that. Going to be coming up to the area of the Glendale Galleria. Eventually, though, he's going to come up to the 5, so we'll have to see what he does there. He has the option at that point of going north or south 5 or continuing westbound 134. And if he continues westbound 134, then he could get on the 170 or the 101 later on. But for now, continuing here, number 2 lane, westbound 134, going to be coming up to, I believe it's going to be the first exit coming up, I think is going to be Brand, but I'll confirm it here in just a moment. You can see those 2 sheriff's units directly behind. And again, something I was pointing out earlier, you can visually see the difference. You can see that these vehicles are now black and whites. They actually say Chino Hills Police. The Chino Hills Police Department is part of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. So although the vehicles say Chino Hills Police, it is all part of the greater San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. And when we first heard about this pursuit up here in News Chopper 4 Alpha, we heard that the pursuit was on the 71. The 71, of course, runs through Chino Hills, so it's all coinciding here. It runs through Chino Hills, and so we heard that it was on the 71. We heard that it was approaching the 60 and then the 10, and then eventually got up to the 210 via the 57 north, and then he picked up that 210 west and continued westbound on that 210 until approaching the 134, where he hopped on the 134 west, and that's where we're at now in Glendale. Pardon the shot here, in Glendale now, traveling about 60 miles an hour here on the westbound 134, very light traffic. And I'm going to pull out because some of those big buildings that I was talking about are about to come into the frame, and of course we don't want to lose sight of the pursuit. So here we go, downtown Glendale. You have all those big buildings lining the freeway, so that's what we're seeing here as this pursuit continues westbound on the 134. Next freeway coming up is going to be the 5, so we'll have to see what he does there. Again, recapping just a little bit, stolen vehicle suspect out of San Bernardino, traveling anywhere from 60 to about 80 miles an hour during the course of this pursuit. One attempted pit maneuver that did not seem to work out. San Bernardino Sheriff's Department in pursuit with the LA County Sheriff's helicopter overhead. And for a time, California Highway Patrol was on this one. They have since backed out. But now the pursuit continues here on the westbound 134 coming up to the 5. Okay, here's his chance to get on the 5. We'll see what he does. So far, it seems like he's going to continue westbound 134, but I'll be able to confirm it here in just a moment. I'm going to pull out just so I can see the bigger picture here. And yep, looks like he's going to be actually, yeah, just westbound 134 with those sheriff's units still directly behind. He's completing the transition here. Going to be coming under. And there we go. He has indeed chosen to continue on the westbound 134. Eastbound side is on the bottom of your picture. Let's zoom back in here though so we can see what the driver is doing, how his vehicle is holding up, or rather the vehicle that is allegedly stolen is holding up as he continues here traveling westbound in that number 2 lane at about 60 miles an hour. And something that I noticed earlier was that I think he's actually missing his side view mirrors. It doesn't seem to be affecting him too much, though. Not too much in the way of traffic here for him. And again, some strange behavior that we have witnessed from up here. It does appear like perhaps he undressed at one point. It was the point when we had zoomed in, his window was down. It was then that we pulled back out just because we weren't sure exactly what he was doing. And we were able to look at those seats, though. We looked at those rear seats. We looked at the passenger seat. And it appears that he is the only person inside. But, of course, the police department, or the sheriff's department rather, when this comes to an end, they're going to treat this very delicately, as if there may possibly be more than one person in the car, because of course they're not completely sure. This is a stolen car. They don't know exactly who this guy is. Under most circumstances, if he was in a vehicle that wasn't stolen, the police department could run the plates, figure out the home address, and then know who this person is. Oh, putting on his brakes here. Let's see what happens. He's actually coming up to some traffic. First time he has encountered traffic while we've been monitoring this pursuit here on the westbound 134 in Burbank here. Oh, pit maneuver right there. But it didn't do too much to him. He just simply got out of it, got onto the right shoulder, and is now trying to weave in and out of traffic. Sheriff's Department tried to pit there. It just didn't work. A second one that they've tried here during the course of this pursuit. Putting on his brakes here because he has quite a bit of traffic coming up. I'll do a loose shot here so that we can monitor the traffic coming up ahead. He's getting by all right, but you can see that there's quite a bit of traffic coming up. That is why he put on his brakes, and that is when the Sheriff's Department said, this is my chance to try a pit. But unfortunately, it didn't work, and the driver was able to just weave his way out of it. As he continues westbound here on the 134 in the Burbank area. Some of the exits coming up are going to be Olive, Buena Vista. You can see that we still have at least 2 of the SUVs directly behind this guy. Perhaps 3. I think I counted 3 earlier. Yeah, I see at least 3, with, of course, the police helicopter overhead, or rather the sheriff's helicopter overhead, using that carpool lane to get by. And, of course, we know that based off of the information that we've heard on the scanner and then from us zooming into the vehicle, we believe it's just a single occupant driver as he passes Bob Hope Drive, continuing here in the carpool lane, where you can see that this westbound 134 is very busy at this time of day, coming up to Toluca Lake here in just a moment. And then just past that, he will have the option of getting on the 101 if he so chooses, or the 170. If he picks up that 170, that'll take him up into the northern San Fernando Valley, so that'll take him up into the areas of North Hollywood, Sun Valley, Pacoima. Or he could continue on this westbound 134, which will become the 101 freeway. It does come to an end right here, and if he does that, then that's going to put him into areas like Encino, and eventually, that's the freeway that'll lead you all the way up north. So for now, though, we continue to watch him here in the Burbank area. Big building here in the way, but I'm going to just skip right over it as he continues the driving here in the number 1 lane. I believe the carpool lane comes to an end right here. Oh no, there continues. Carpool lane continues. Traveling at slower speeds now, approximately 30 miles an hour, just because of the traffic that is in the area. Lots of big buildings here, guys, so just bear with us here as we bring News Chopper 4 Alpha around. Going to be coming up there. There you go. My pilot Patrick, of course, doing a great job of getting us around. Up to, oh, continuing to follow this pursuit here on the 134 westbound. Going to be coming up to the 101 where the 134 will be coming to an end. So we will have to see if... 10-4, thank you. Desk, we should be back up this time into Oat. Back with you now in East Chopper 4 Alpha in the Toluca Lake area here where we continue to monitor this pursuit here on the westbound 134. You saw what the driver was trying to do there. It seems like he's trying to get into this lane here, but the other vehicles aren't letting him. So this is where the 134 comes to an end, right at the 101. He's using that right shoulder to get by. This is a stolen vehicle out of the San Bernardino area. You see the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department in pursuit directly behind this guy, really not giving this guy too much breathing room as he appears to be getting on the 101, but I'll let you know here in just a moment as this is where all of these freeways come together. But just to recap a little bit, this is a pursuit that started in San Bernardino, and the Sheriff's Department was in pursuit. We first heard about it near the Chino Hills area, near the 71 freeway, and then the pursuit made its way onto the 57, eventually the 210 westbound. The California Highway Patrol picked it up at that point rather, and the California Highway Patrol was on it for a little bit, in addition to the LA County Sheriff's Department helicopter overhead. But eventually, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department asked to take over the pursuit yet again, and that is where we are now, where the driver is actually going to be transitioning to the 101 North. So he is on the 101 North, coming away from the 134. Again, a stolen vehicle suspect, just a single occupant driver. We were able to take a good peek inside earlier, and we couldn't see anyone in the back seat. We couldn't see anyone in the the passenger seat either. And just in terms of what this driver has been doing For the most part, he has been sticking to speeds between 60 and 80. That's kind of his comfort zone. And for the most part, sticking to the number 1 lane or the carpool lane. And we did notice some erratic behavior at one point during the course of the pursuit. Oh, the door coming open. Door opening up here on the westbound, or rather on the northbound 101. He may be jumping out. Oh, this could be really bad. Oh, gosh. And just like that, he closed it. Oh gosh, those were some scary moments there. He opened the door as if door right back up, right here on the 101 at Laurel Canyon. Go ahead, Desk. Back with you guys here. Sorry about that. We apparently had a little issue with our signal here, but we should be good to go here as this pursuit continues on the 101 North, coming up to the Whitsett exit. And just as I was talking about this guy's behavior, how we had seen him take off some of his clothes earlier, he decides to do probably the craziest thing we've seen him do during this entire pursuit, which was to open the door on the freeway while continuing to drive at least 60 miles an hour in what looked like an attempt to jump out of the vehicle, but then he just simply closed the door back up. So that was definitely some strange behavior from this stolen vehicle suspect as he continues here northbound on the 101. I'm going to pull the shot out though just to touch so that you can see what traffic is doing. It's going to slow him down because you see that traffic is going to be slowing down here through the area. This is the Studio City area, and that's the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department directly behind this guy. They've been following this pursuit the entire time, although they did relinquish the pursuit to the California Highway Patrol for a little while as they decided that because the pursuit had made its way onto the freeways, the California Highway Patrol was best suited to continue the pursuit. But then the Sheriff's Department decided they wanted to take over yet again, and that's the situation we have now on the 101 North, coming up to Woodman Avenue, traveling in that number 2 lane at approximately 40 miles an hour because, as you can see, traffic is busy in this area. During the course of this pursuit, we understand that 2 pit maneuvers have been attempted. We witnessed one of them. It was by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, was not too successful. And then there was a previous one. I'm not sure if that first one was by the San Bernardino Department or whether it was by the California Highway Patrol. I believe it was likely going to be the California Highway Patrol, but we weren't overhead just yet at the time, so I can't quite confirm that. But we were here for that second one when the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department tried to perform a pit maneuver, but unfortunately it was not very successful. They did tap the guy's rear bumper, but he simply just wiggled his way out of it and continued on. And for the most part, he hasn't had any close calls with other vehicles, just simply traveling a little too fast most of the time, as well as rolling his window down, acting strangely. But for the most part, it seems like everyone else has come out unscathed so far with this guy on the roadway. Again, this started in San Bernardino, has now made its way all the way into Sherman Oaks here on the 101 North, and eventually, if he continues here on this 101 North, his next freeway coming up will be the 405. So he'll be able to go 405 North. If he does that, the 405 will end at the 5, so he, at that point, would have to hop on the 5. But he can also go 405 South. So if he has any intention of heading back towards the San Bernardino area, his best bet at this point is to hop on that 405 South. But we'll see what he does coming up. Earlier, he had the option of getting on the 101 North, or 101 South, rather, and heading towards San Bernardino that way, but he chose not to do so. So perhaps he just doesn't know the area and doesn't know how to get back towards home, or he has no intention of heading back towards the IE and is simply just going to try to have this last as long as possible as he comes up to some heavier traffic here on the 101. Going to be coming up to Kester Avenue as he approaches the 405 here in just a moment. Patrick, how's it? Hi. Just communicating with my pilot, Patrick McKernan, about our fuel situation. We have about 40 minutes left of fuel. 40 minutes left. We had about an hour 20 left of fuel when we first heard about this pursuit. We were about to land at our base at Whiteman Airport in Pacoima when we heard that this pursuit was going on out of the Chino Hills area. So we, of course, got there as soon as we could, and we've been on this pursuit now for at least half an hour. Roughly, as we picked it up in the Duarte area. We picked it up on the 210 westbound, just west of the 57, and followed it on that 210 west over to the 134 west, and now on the 101 north. So for the most part, this guy has just been traveling in a west or east to west direction. But of course, for a time there, he was on the 71 north. He was on the 71 that runs through the Chino Hills area. So we don't know exactly where this pursuit began, but we know that it was in the Chino Hills police jurisdiction, and then hopped on the freeway. That's what led the California Highway Patrol to take over for a little bit at least, until the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department decided that they wanted to see this one through. Again, this is a stolen vehicle suspect. We don't know anything else about this person other than he's a male, and we've seen some of his erratic behavior. Not so much in terms of his driving. His driving has been relatively steady, sticking to his lane for the most part, but just driving at speeds from 60 to 80 miles an hour. And we did notice, though, a little bit of erratic behavior in terms of what he was doing inside. When he rolled down his window, we tried to take a good look inside, and at that point it appeared as if he was maybe undressing. Since then, though, it seems like he may have put at least his hoodie back on. He was wearing a black sweater with a hoodie, and we were also able to take a good peek inside and see him there for just a moment. We were able to take a good peek inside. It doesn't appear that there's anybody else in there with him. We don't see anyone in the back seat. We don't see anyone in the passenger seat either. So there he is. You can see him at least checking as he makes that lane change, because you can see that he actually doesn't have that driver's side mirror. That's hanging and will likely fall here at any moment. And we also noticed a little bit of damage to that front bumper, and of course some sun damage to the vehicle. It's unclear when this car was stolen or where it was stolen out of, but normally how it works is the police department will see a vehicle, and for whatever reason they will just run the plates, make sure everything is good with that vehicle, registration isn't expired and things of that nature. And so when they ran the plates for this vehicle, the vehicle came up as a stolen. And it was at that point that they attempted to pull the person over. Most of the time, in situations like this, the person will pull over, and then they will be apprehended for driving a stolen vehicle. In this case, though, the driver decided to take off. And he took off from the Chino Hills area, roughly, made his way through a lot of LA County cities, through San Dimas, Duarte, Arcadia, Pasadena, Eagle Rock, Glen. Oh, there we go. Oh, just tapped that car. He was trying to make the lane change. Oh, and there we go. San Bernardino Sheriff's Department moving in, tried to keep him there between him and that vehicle that he hit, but the driver is going to now go the wrong way on the on-ramp here on the 101 North. Going to be exiting, coming up to that tanker. Oh, gosh, this could be bad. Okay, so he's exiting via the on-ramp. I'll get you the on-ramp here in just a moment. This is going to be very close to the 405 and the 101. He's slowing down here. Let's see what he does. Oh, okay, going to try to rejoin the freeway here. Made a U-turn there and is rejoining the freeway, but this time it is the 405 South. So despite everything this guy just went through, he's going to try to continue on. 405 South now really picking up speed. I'm clocking him now at about 70 miles an hour. Just went under the 101 freeway there, using the carpool lane to get by. So now he's in the Sherman Oaks area, 405 South, south of the 101, using that carpool lane. Wow. what we just witnessed was incredible. He hit another car as he was making a lane change, and then at that point, the sheriff's department, they saw that as their opportunity to swoop in there and try to pin this guy in, but it just didn't work. The guy was able to weave his way out of there, then started driving the wrong way on the on-ramp to the freeway, and then made a dramatic U-turn getting back onto the freeway, but this time on the 405 South, going to be coming up to Mulholland, Getty Center, just the Sepulveda Pass streets that run here through this area. 405 South here. I'm going to pull out though so we can take a look at traffic, take a look at what's coming up. Wow, as we continue to watch the stolen vehicle pursuit out of San Bernardino. .405 South, coming up to Mulholland. Okay, putting on his blinker here. 405 South, coming up to Mulholland, now in the number 2 lane, moved over from that carpool lane over to the number 2. This is the area where you'll find the Getty Center coming up here very shortly rather. Here, 405 South. Getty Center going to be coming up in a little bit off of the right-hand side, off of the westbound side rather. And this is the area where UCLA is located, for those of you who are watching us from outside of our viewing area. And eventually he will, if he continues here on this 405 South, that will get him to the 10 freeway. It'll be a chance for him to pick up the 10 if he so chooses, or he could continue on this 405 South, and that would take him into the LAX area if he takes that south enough. And something that I was bringing up earlier was that if this guy has any intention of getting back towards the IE, towards Chino Hills, then he had to pick up a southbound freeway at one point. He had the option of the 101, he didn't take that, and he had actually already bypassed his chance to get on the 405 South, but then it was that collision and then that pit maneuver from the Sheriff's Department that forced him onto the 405 South, and that's where he's at now, continuing here at very high speeds rather, passing some of the other slower moving vehicles. I'm zooming in here so I can grasp how fast he's going. Coming up to some traffic here though, approximately 80 miles an hour is what I'm hearing as he moves now to that number 1 lane. I'm going to go ahead and because we're starting to lose some of our light here, I'm going to go ahead and change some of my settings here to prepare for nightfall. With the sun coming down, it will affect my colors here. So just adjusting a few things here while I have the chance as he continues here southbound on the 405 freeway. The LA County Sheriff's Department helicopter, who has been overhead almost the entire time, calling this pursuit from above, they're actually out of fuel. So they're going to be leaving the scene here in just a moment to go refuel. And we're going to go ahead and keep our picture up so you guys can continue to monitor this pursuit as it approaches the Getty Center on the 405 South. I'm going to just communicate with my assignment desk here for just a few minutes. So I'm going to be off the mic, but I'll continue to hold the vehicle here as it continues southbound on the 405. And thank you to all of you who continue to watch us here on NBC. This is still that stolen vehicle out of San Bernardino now has made its way all the way to the 405 south of the 10, where the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department continues to follow it. And I see at least 3 of their units directly behind this guy. No police helicopter, though, at this point, because the LA County Sheriff's Department, who was over this pursuit, their helicopter ran out of fuel, had to leave to go get fuel. So up here in News Chopper 4 Alpha, we are encountering... They'll take us? Okay, cool. We're encountering a very similar situation where we have to go get fuel, and we're going to be landing at San Bernardino Airport. We've already called ahead, Santa Monica Airport. Santa Monica Airport will be giving us our fuel here really quick. We already called over. It should be a quick turnaround for us. I'll continue to hold the vehicle as long as I can as we descend to land into Santa Monica. But you will be without our coverage here for at least 15 minutes or so while we live over it, bringing you this stolen vehicle pursuit. But for now, I will have to sign off. Hold the images, though, as long as I can, and we hope that you'll tune back in once we come back over this pursuit later. Again, we're leaving this on the 405 south of the 10 freeway.